Hey guys, I'm back. I wanted to chat about Wrath of the Lich King and if I think it's going to survive the current classic WoW hype. But before we get into it, I'd appreciate you guys subscribing to the channel, thumbs up the video. I appreciate the feedback and all the support. Now, I need people to understand this is 100% commentary, 100% my own opinion. It's okay to agree, it's okay to disagree. But what I really would appreciate from you guys is leaving how you feel about, my words or your words in general about the game in the comments, because a lot of people like to conversate in there and I try to respond to all of you. So it does really good overall for people to be able to share how they feel about the game. Now, I'm going to tie this into my last video a couple weeks ago about Wrath, and how I suggested that it's on a downward slope. Now, a lot of people agreed, a lot of people disagreed, and a lot of people had no input. They just wanted to insult me, which is totally fine. But I noticed overall that a lot of people have suggested that Wrath is better than ever or the best expansion yet for the classic remasters. And that's simply because of their base of saying that there's more logs than ever before, which is true. But however, a lot of those are just alts. And if you haven't noticed yet, Wrath of the Lich King is basically the expansion of the alts. It's the expansion for you to try other classes, good class balance. It's easy for catch up. It's easy to gear an alt. It's easier to raid an alt. Now, if you just want to compare the two between TBC Phase 2 and Wrath of the Lich King Phase 2, you can see the huge difference. And especially in TBC, you really weren't alt raiding at that time. A lot of people were still progging on SSC and TK and didn't really have an alt available yet because they still had to grind their reps for heroics and do the tedious things that they still had to do for their main, but a lot of people weren't ready to do that yet. Now, the exact opposite for Wrath Phase 2 currently, you have badge catch-up gear, you have heroic pluses, you have a bunch of stuff. GDKPs are more popular. You have a bunch of stuff now that helps you get more alts, more raids, essentially more parses, more logs on Warcraft logs. At least that's my opinion on it. But I wanted to dip into more of the new stuff, and especially with the new classic news about it being updated to 1.15, which means they're up to something. Now, I chatted about that before as well. It could be Season of Mastery 2. It could be hardcore servers. It could be Classic Plus. There's a bunch of stuff that it could potentially be. Excuse me. And then one thing for sure, though, is that hardcore is absolutely booming right now, and it's getting bigger. I thought this was just going to be a phase. It is, in fact, not a phase. A lot of people are playing this game. I don't know if you've seen the starting zones, you've seen other videos, you watch YouTubers, you watch streamers. There's a lot of people playing this game right now. And especially, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos myself, and I go in the comments, and there's a lot of people that just were not active for a while, and they have came back to this game just to play hardcore or try hardcore. I know you guys have seen it in the comments. A lot of people are playing this game right now. Now, what does that have to really do with Wrath? Well, if it's a Season of Mastery 2, it's going to be hype. If it's hardcore servers, it's going to be hype. If it's Classic Plus, which it's probably not, but if it was Classic Plus, remake on class balance, maybe another raid or two, different mechanics, kind of like a Season of Mastery, that would put Wrath out of business 100%. And it's hard to imagine people will ignore what's happening in Classic. And overall, Classic is king. And that's just how it's going to roll. I mean, I really don't have an argument towards that. And a lot of these people that are coming back to come play the game are people that kind of either quit Wrath or just were tired of how Warcraft is kind of shaping itself right now, especially in Wrath of the Lich King. People are getting tired. I'm talking about the average player here, which, makes up the huge amount of the current WoW population is just casual players. And they're tired of gear score requirements. They're tired of GDKPs. They're tired of linking achievements, the basic things, which, don't get me wrong, are not necessarily bad for the game. The average player doesn't really have a reason to play Wrath right now. And especially with Phase 3 coming up, which is, again, just another recycled raid in Onyxia, and then you have Trial, there's just not a lot to look forward to. And now there's rumors that the Heroic Plus dungeons are going to get higher difficulty, so that now they're going to drop Ulduar gear. And with Ulduar being the main raid still in Phase 3, I'm having a really hard time seeing people stay committed to Wrath of the Lich King, especially with retail coming out with stuff now. You got Diablo 4 coming out. But most importantly, you have Classic WoW making a huge comeback for obvious reasons. People don't like how Wrath is set up. People don't like how people are acting on Wrath. They don't like that mentality, which is not a bad thing. Again, it's not a bad thing. I'm just saying what the average player thinks is that they're kind of getting pushed out of Wrath. So, I mean, overall, I just don't see a spot for Wrath right now. I just don't. I don't see it. Like, it's weird thinking that it might actually die. Not like die, but like it's going to be empty. People are going to come back for phase 4, don't get me wrong. But it's going to be for 3 or 4 clears. They're going to go right back to whatever they were potentially doing. I just don't see it looking good for Wrath right now. Now, again, this is just my opinion. Just a quick rant. You know how I feel about the game, how I feel about Wrath, how I feel about all the classic news. But, you know, yeah, just let me know how you guys feel in the comments. All right, later. Thank you.